Hey y'all, welcome to the Filling Station. It's a new day, another opportunity to either make money in this market or to just learn from the market. But first, y'all, let me give my disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor. I just enjoy teaching people how to build generational wealth. And yes, the stock market is just one of those avenues. So this video is for educational purposes only. If you could please like, share, comment, subscribe, y'all, because we learn and we grow together. With that being said, let's get started. So we are looking at Tesla, and as you can see, we close at 341.04, and we have Tesla is Tesla. I just say that so often because we were at this 347, came down a little bit only to try to go back up, have trouble again in that area here, come back today. We're on a market's down today. Tesla is gonna open gap down. So let's say that where are the trouble places? Let's start there. Where are the trouble places with Tesla? Back to the upside, that 338.36 could be a trouble place. And right now, that 200 EMA, I would say around this level, 240.58. We're having issues at that 240 area. So 240.06, 240.58 could be a trouble place. 240.85. Again, here at 241.60, 242.15. And breaking that 242.76. Now, should we break that level, the ATR trailing stop is forming here around the 343.27 area. If we should break that level for Tesla, we could possibly have trouble again, 344.29, and breaking that, we could say somewhere around 345.56, and again here at 346.40. Now, should we break that, 346.84 could be an area of resistance, and this 347.50. Now, back to the downside, continuing to the downside. Let's say if we lose the support around this 335.90, we could very well come back to around 335.16, not very far away, right? So that's kind of like where we are now. This candle has not closed. So continuing to the downside, under 335.16, we could very well come back to 333.77, breaking that 332.58, 331.52, and then should we break that area, 330.29, and breaking that brings us back to around the 329.42, breaking that level, 328.35. And if we should lose that 327.32 area, 327.38, that is an area that stopped us before to take us back to the upside. So definitely watch this area, 327.38. Should we break this level, we could very well come back down to the 325.36. It would not surprise me to see us back in this area for Tesla. So if Tesla is something that you trade, y'all know I say so often, trade carefully. In this market, anything is possible, nothing is guaranteed, right? So we are looking at the SPY, and yes, it is very congested. Why? Because I've been charting the SPY for a few years now, so kind of want to know where my possible trouble places are. We closed at 538.09, and as you can see, we were trading in this gathering spot here only to have a sell down, like as looks almost like Tesla. Looks like we're finding support at that's 573.26. So I'm going to make this a little bit more visible for us just to see if we can figure out where our trouble places are for the SPY. Again, sideways movement, sell down here, and finding support here, 723.26. Let's look back to the upside. As you can see, the body of the candle is coming back to this area, set 573.94. So if we should break that level, 574.22, 574.37, not far away. 574.51, not far away. 574.68, so let's look here at 575. Should we break that 575 area, we could very well have support or resistance, let's say resistance at around 575.68, and if we should break that level, 576.39, breaking that brings us back to 576.74, 577.04, again here at 577.62, and if we should break that, 578.34, or I would say 578.50 area could be a rejection area for the SPY. Now let's see if we continue to the downside. Where are the trouble places as of now? Under the 573.31, we could very well come back, find support 573. Under 573, 572.63. If we lose that area of support, 572.12, and breaking that level brings us back to 571.88. Should we break that, 571.59, again 571.45, and if we break that, 570 120, not far away. Breaking that brings us back to 571.05. So that 571 has a few layers of support here. Now, if we should break that 570.65 is the next layer that I have, or level that I have for the SPY as a support area. Under this 570.65, we could very well come back to 570.31. Again, I look at support and resistance on a much smaller scale. Why? Because when I'm in the trade, I kind of want to know where my possible trouble places are. I'm going to look at the VIX. Why? Because normally when I'm trading the SPY, I look at the VIX. It kind of gives me an idea of what's going on with the SPY. And as you can see, it was trading sideways, and it made a nice move to the upside, which in turn brought the SPY to the downside. So trouble places for the VIX as of right now, resistance at around 25.67. If we should lose that area back to the upside, 26.40, breaking through that level, 26.92, 27.12, 27.43, and again here at 27.77. Now, if we should break that level, 28.33 could be a rejection area for the VIX. Now back to the downside, let's say under this 24.64 area, we could very well find support again, 24.29, under that 23.69, and if we should break that 23.21, there's a few layers here for support for the VIX, 22.03, 22.82, 22.57, and again 22.40. So there's a few layers of support for the VIX coming back to the downside. Again, we should break that level. We could possibly have trouble 21.99, 21.81, 21.68, 21.51. So we're going to say we're breaking through all of those all the way back down to the $21. So let's say from $21.97 back to $21, we can find support anywhere in between for the VIX. Now, again, I look at the VIX because it kind of gives me an idea of what's going on with the SPY. Normally, when the VIX is up, the SPY is down. That is normally. Anything is possible, right? So we are now looking at AMD, and as you can see, we closed here at 112.71. It too was trading in this gathering spot. This is our zone here that we have been trading in. We sold this candle here. It looks like the 730 candle. All of them are kind of looking the same, right? So where are the trouble places as of now for AMD? Let's say back to the upside, 108.08. Should we break that? 108.57. Again at 109.16, 109.18. And if we should break that level, 109.72, 109.91. Looks like that ATR trailing stop is forming here at that 110.20. Should we break that, it brings us back to this area of 110.65. Price was here in this area. Should we break that, we come back to the 111.03 and could possibly have trouble there, a resistance area. And if we should break that, 111.42, and breaking that level, 112.01, could possibly be a rejection area for AMD. So if that is something that you trade, those are resistance areas as of now. Let's look to the downside for AMD. Under this 107.65 area, we can come back around to around the 107.28, and if we should break that 106.94, breaking that 106.51, and if we should break that 105.77, breaking that level 105.23. If we break that 105.23 area, we could possibly find support 104.85, again 104.40, and 104.08. Now, if we break that 104.08 area, which is here, we could very well come back to 103.68. So if AMD is something that you trade today, y'all know I say so often, trade carefully. Once it goes against your why, get out. Live to trade another day. So we are looking at NVDA. We closed at 132.83. As you can see, y'all, we've been trading in this sideways movement, or the gathering spot, as I like to say. The 730 candle here brought us back to the downside. So where are the trouble places, right? So looks like we have found support at a level that I do not have marked. I need to remember this area. Why? Because something stopped us before. Back to the upside, it looks as if we could possibly have trouble at this 128.40, 128.55, 128.74, 129. Those are good. That's really, really close together, but those are places that have found support before. So I say trade carefully. Now, continuing, if we should break past the 129.01, we could possibly have trouble again. 129.50, 129.96, 130.60, 130.92, 131.18, and again 131.52. Should we break that for NVIDIA, we can come back to around 131.81. Breaking that level brings us back to this area here that we had been trading in recently. So around the 132.29 and breaking that 132.85 could be a support resistance area for NVIDIA. Now, continuing to the downside, should we lose this area of support at the 127.80, keep in mind something stopped us here before. Breaking beyond this level, we could possibly find support again. 127.49, not far away, right? Should we break that level, 126.91, again at 126.40, 125.50. Let me see. Yes, 125.50. Should we break that level, 124.97, again at 124.41, breaking that 124.41, we could possibly find support 123.82 and breaking that level 123.20. So if you're trading NVIDIA today, those are possible areas to the upside and to the downside. Again, y'all, not financial advice, let's say that, right? So we do have a few inside day candles today, and I just like to give the trigger to that, meaning if we break above this level, this is our possible target. And today CCL or Carnival Cruise Lines is on the list for that. If it should break above 22.58, 22.60 was the target, not far away. And what I like to see sometimes is, this area, we've already broken through the 21.99 area, only to break through the target of 21.90. Let me rephrase that. 21.99 was the breakthrough. 21.83 was the target, and as you can see, we have already met that target pre-market. So if CCL is something that you trade, I say trade carefully. It was an inside day candle, and yes, we have already met that target to the downside pre-market. So we are now looking at DBX or Dropbox Inc. It is an inside day candle here. If by chance we break above 28.86, the upside target for DBX 29.05. Now to the downside under 28.45, we have 28.44, not very far away, but there is a downside movement that, it could very well go in either direction. Let me say that. I would say we have a drop to the downside. If you're trading DBX, I say y'all trade carefully in this market. Anything is possible. FTNT is also an inside day candle. Let's see if we break above 104.69, 104.79 is the target, and it too has already reached the downside target. The breakthrough is at 103.07. Downside target was 102.76. I did have it as a weekly candle, and as you can see, we've already reached that weekly target to the downside. I like looking at inside day candles because it kind of helps, just build our watch list and give us those possible targets, right? So SoFi was also an inside day candle for today. Let's see, it seems like it, yes, back to the upside above 1327, 1333 is the target. To the downside under 1278, and you can see that's where we are here. Under 1278, 1274 is the target. So if SoFi is something that you trade, it is an inside day candle. I said trade carefully. I do know that QQQ was an inside day candle, and as you can see, y'all, we've already broke through that trigger to the downside and found some support here, but I will give the triggers just in case it decides to go back to the upside. Not saying that it can't, right? Back to the upside above 517.86, upside target 523.13. Now to the downside, we've already reached that 512.09. Downside target was 511.06. We have found support here at this 505.15 area for QQQ. So I would say trade carefully. I'm going to say where your trouble places back to the upside could possibly be for QQQ above this level 505.78. We could possibly have trouble again 507.05. And if we should break that level, 507.88 is our 5 EMA as of right now. Should we break that level, 509.96, again here at 511.06, and breaking that 511.56, breaking that level 512.09. So if you're trading QQQ today, those are possible rejection areas to the upside or your resistance areas. Now, could we break this 512.09? Absolutely, and then we can come back to around this 513. I'm going to mark this level 513.46 and possibly have trouble. Why? Because price has been in this area before. So back to the was a support place. It is now a resistance area for us. So above the 513.46 for QQQ, 1540 could be a rejection area. Can we continue to the downside? Absolutely. So I'm going to say under this 505.15 area, 504.26 down here at 503.65. As you can see, something stopped us at 503.28. Should we break that level, I have the next level for QQQ around the 499.61. However, you see here, anything could stop us in between. So if you trade QQQ, it is an inside day candle, and those are possible support and resistance areas. So let's look at Meta today just to see where we are. It too traded sideways. It's an inside day candle. I like to see those, right? So it traded sideways only to get this 730 candle here brought us back to the downside. So let's look at the inside day portion of it first, right? So breaking beyond the 643.31, we have an upside target of 646.56. Now to the downside, we have already broke through and reached that downside target pre-market. 630.51 was the trigger to that. Target would have been 630.02. As you can see, we've come down, found support here at the 622.08. So back to the upside, where are the trouble places? We need to get back above this level of 623.73. Again here at 624.96, breaking that level 626.13, and if we should break that, 627.32, and back to 630.02 could be a rejection area. Now should we break that, we could very well come back to 632.71 and around 633.80. Should we break that level, it brings us back to 635.49, which was a support area. It is now our resistance. So breaking back to the upside, 635.49. Should we break that, 637.38. Now to the downside, let's continue down for Meta. If we lose support here at the 622.08, we could very well find support 620.72, again here at 619.56, and again 617.71. Breaking that 617.71, I have 614.55. However, we could very well get stopped out anywhere in between this. So breaking that 614.55 area, it looks as if I have the next level at 610.27. However, there's a few spaces that we could very well get stopped out at. So if you're trading Meta today, I say trade carefully today, y'all. In this market, anything is possible. Nothing is guaranteed. And what I like about the market, there's so many different ways to make money in this market. And what's challenging at times is trying to figure out what strategy works best for you, and making sure that you have a discipline to execute whatever your plan is, and having a plan. Let's say that, right? So I hope that everyone have a very profitable and a very, very productive day today. Again, if you could please like, share, comment, subscribe, y'all, because we learn and we grow together. So until next time, be blessed as well as a blessing unto others.